Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be working on this Hobart Handler 140 MIG welder. I was welding some stuff up yesterday and my welds were not looking very good at all. I know I can weld better than that. Started noticing it was making an interesting sound when I'd pull the trigger. The speed control, it was very I don't know how to describe it. It would speed up, slow down, stuff like that. And so I started playing around with it. Noticed that it's not jiving very well. I can adjust the speed all the way to 100. Sometimes it goes real fast, sometimes it doesn't. Adjust the speed down here to 40 or 50 and it's not chooching. Something's not working on it. So I'm gonna tear this thing apart, start taking it apart and looking and seeing what it is that might be wrong with this. If it's something, a simple part that we can replace, a motor, a board, a switch or something like that, and we'll maybe have to keep from buying a brand new one. Had this for a long time, so I'm not sure if there's parts still available or not, but we're gonna tear it apart and take a look. We've got the skin off of it. Kind of taking a look at things in here to see if anything really stands out. This right here is the speed control switch. Connections going into the board up there, and then it comes out of the board here down to a little DC motor. It's got a lot of dust and magnetic metal stuff on it. But everything from what I can see looks okay. I don't see any burnt parts or anything of that sort. Don't see any bare wires other than being a little bit dusty, a lot dusty. Everything looks to be pretty good. I'm betting on it being this switch here, and there's probably only three things it could be: this switch, this motor, or something on this board. We'll take a look-see and see if we can figure out which one it might be. So what I'm going to check right now is see if there is any difference in voltage coming out of this. This is the connector that goes directly to the motor, and I'm gonna, since the switch is the dial is kind of working, I want to see if I see any major jumps or anything in the voltage here. So I'm gonna use my voltmeter. It's a DC motor, so I'm gonna put it to DC. It's 12 volts. I'm going to stick these in here, remove my hands, cut it on, and pull the trigger. So I have the trigger depressed and I'm turning the dial very slowly. I'm blowing up the whole time. You know, it's jumping all around. Turning it down just slightly. And that is about 70%. Just tweak it a bit. That's at 0. About 30 or 40. It's about 80. So I believe the problem is not lying in the confuser here. I think it is within this switch. I'm going to take that switch off. Run by the parts outlet, grab a new switch. It cannot be more than a few dollars. Put it in there, see if that fixes our problem. Back onto this Welder Repair. This is the potentiometer that I was thinking might be bad, but after testing it, it's not. Everything is working fine. You can see I'm across those two leads, 46 ohms. Turn it down or up depending on which lead you're on to 0. Turn it all the way the other way, I'm at 50. Switch it across and go in the inverse from there. See, I was at 50 between this lead here and this lead here. Now I'm going to go this lead. So let me show you real quick. I'm on 50 ohms between I need 3 hands. Between this lead and this lead, it's bouncing all around. It's because I've got my finger on the lead. Yeah. So you can see we're at 50. I go between the other two leads, I'm at 0. But if I turn this dial, I'll be at 50. Moving back to these two, I'll be at 0. Turn the dial, I'll be back at 50. Boom. So nothing's wrong with this. This is a B50K potentiometer. It's not a rheostat because of the 3 leads. You could make it a rheostat if you wanted, but this just determines the resistance between the 3 leads here, which when you turn the dial, the resistance between these 3 leads changes, and that affects the speed control of the motor. So after looking and Googling more on what could potentially be wrong and causing the problems with the welder, it's this TIP 142 transistor. Framing. Sorry. This transistor right here. And so I went by the parts outlet that I go to. There's the potentiometer, 225. And I got a new transistor. $1 and a quarter, $1.25, something like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this transistor and put the new transistor in, and then we'll throw it into the welder and see if that fixes our problem. What I'm going to have to do that is drill out this rivet, desolder these 3 pins, solder the new one back in there and reinstall a rivet. Very simple, but we'll do that. Shouldn't take us very long, and then we'll throw it in the welder and see if it fixes our problem. Hopefully so. Soldering gun is heating up, and while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and drill out this rivet here to get at this transistor. Make sure we can get it loose once we get the pins desoldered. Go ahead and put the board back in. It just snaps on with these 5 plastic pins in here. There's a little retainer clip. Cable only goes one way. I'm going to leave the motor disconnected for now and check the voltage coming out. I want to see if it's any different than what we had yesterday. But, got power ready to go. So let's switch over here to voltage. You might be able to see that, but I'm going to put these in here. Turn it on, pull the trigger, 5.8, .24.9. That's working so much smoother than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was jumping up and down all around. That appears as though we have fixed our problem. So I'm going to connect the motor, move you guys around to the other side, and we'll take a look and see if we're getting the speed variability that we were after. And then I'll button it back up. I'm going to turn it on, pull the trigger, adjust the dial, and see if we get the speed that we're after. Beautiful. And she's fixed. $1.25 for that piece right there. 30 minutes of my time at $1,000 an hour. We're looking at $1.25 plus tax. Probably could have bought a new welder, but we fixed it ourselves and it's working. It's back together. I'm gonna give it a little test run, see how she works. is a much better and proper weld. $1.25 made all the difference.